Hi, my name's Barbara Feltz. I'm coming to you from Oxford, North Carolina from my studio, BJF Studio and Gallery. I am going to show you how to make this flexible mermaid fin, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I hope you're enjoying the Professional Doll Makers Art Guild convention, and thank you for watching. Hi, I am back. We are going to, let me tell you what we're going to need. We're going to need some liquid clay, and we're going to need an armature for a mermaid. I have this one here is the size of my tiny babies, about 4 inches, with modified for a mermaid. So I have used 2 wires, twisted at the neck all the way down to the hips and then split apart, 2 on each side, and then I brought them down and twist them here at the ankles, and so I have 4 wires here for the fin. And then I have secured it with this foil tape that you can get at the hardware store. It's in the air conditioning sections for ducks, air conditioning ducts, but it works wonders for securing these wires together. So I wrapped some around the spine and some around the bottom part where it's going to get most of the use. And then I have a third one here for the head, and I twisted that around and then made the arms, and then used some foil to fill out the head and the little belly and paper taped it all. Okay, and then we're going to use this. We're going to make a flexible, the tail fin is going to be flexible, and I made the wires a little bit extra long. The finished tail should be about, on mine, it'd be however long you want it to be, but I usually make mine around 2 inches, and then I leave a little extra, and I'll show you that, the reason for that later. But so we'll use this one, and you need either some heavy-duty foil, or this is the lid of a takeout container that I've just cut up, and you can get those in the Dollar Tree, or something like that. And then we're going to need a heat gun. It's like a paint stripping gun, or you can use an embossing gun or something like that, just to heat up and cure the liquid clay. So I will put some liquid clay on the wires, because we want them to still be flexible. You could use some of the new cos clay, I guess, but I would just use the liquid clay today. And I will put some in a little container to make it easier. And just try to get it out into the container. This stuff sometimes hard to get out of the bottle, and this is an almost empty bottle, so it doesn't want to come down. There we go. Messy stuff. And then I will just take a brush or your finger, whatever, just get some on the wire. And I do these in stages. You put a little on, bake it, and then put a little on, just so it doesn't build up too fast. And it's okay if you go past the 2-inch mark. Just cut that off later. So, and it might be faster with the finger. Could put a little mark on the wire for your 2-inch mark if you want. A little past the 2-inch mark so you don't see the wire later, or see the mark later. And whenever you're using the heat gun to cure the liquid clay, you want to be in a well ventilated area. Maybe wear a mask, since we have so many masks available to us right now. So I just put a little bit on there, and then I'll cure it with the heat gun. Oh, I need a baby wipe. Get that off my finger. I'm not prepared here, so always have baby wipes handy. So then you just take I'll go cure this with the heat gun. It'll be loud, so I'll pause it. Well, I'll show you one time or a couple times, but I'll try not to make it too many times because it is loud. Okay, you just take your heat gun and you hold it about, I don't know, what's that, 6 inches away. You don't want to get too close, but it's going to be loud, sorry. And let's find a place like this. Yeah. And you can, well, it's not quite cured. It's still a little bit tacky, so I'll do a little more. Put it a little closer just to make it go faster. The important thing is to keep the heat gun moving. If you hold it too long in one spot, you will burn it. So it's important to keep it moving at all times. Okay, and let it cool a little bit. Okay, and just continue, add a little more, and we're just building up these little wires, and then we're going to tape it to the foil for the next part. But we want to build these up a little bit. That'll give something for the liquid clay to stick to when we do the fill in between. So you want to make sure to get it as smooth as you can. You just want to keep doing this until you've built up enough, however much you want. Make sure I'm going at least 2 inches. It's a little time consuming, but it gives good results. And I'm going to pause the camera so you don't have to watch me keep doing the same thing over and over again. And then I'll come back for the next step. So I'm just going to keep building this up until it's nice, even amount on all the wires. And I'll come back and show you what the finished part is and what the next step is. Okay, I have done about four rounds of covering and then curing and then covering and curing. So these are pretty good. They're not perfect. You still have some little bumps and stuff. If those bother you, you can take scissors and kind of cut those if you want, but I don't think they'll show up when we get it all done. I did bring the liquid clay up a little bit on the tail, like up to about here, and it's a little bit farther than the 2 inches, but we'll just cut it off. So there's some down here, but that's okay, we can cut that off. So I think it's ready for the next step. I did add a little bit extra where they all come together to give it a little more support. So the next step is to take either your heavy duty foil or your little foil top from a takeout container, and we're going to attach this with this foil tape. And I just tear it in half. This doesn't need to be that thick. You can get 2 strips out of one. This tape goes a long way. I don't remember how much it cost, but it's worth every penny. Hard to get the backing off, especially on camera. So you just peel the paper off the back, and you're going to stick each one of these down. Just catch a little bit of the end of it. That's why we left some extra. Get it kind of in the shape you're going to want the final shape to be. Try the other end. If it doesn't come on one end, try the other. Okay, so that's about the final shape it's going to be, but it's going to be 2 inches. I'll find my ruler. So about to there, and we can just make a mark with a right about there, and right about there. It's just to help me when I'm putting the liquid clay. I'll know about where to stop. And I'm going to make it kind of shaped like that. Just kind of gives me a guide. I want to make sure they're kind of even. And also, I'm going to secure the top of it with a large piece of tape. We want to hold it really still. Here. And I think I'm even going to put a second piece of tape, because sometimes the heat will make the foil tape let loose. So I'm just going to make it extra secure. Since I have so much extra room here. Feels pretty secure. You want to make sure there's no spaces in between the foil and the spines, and they look like they're laying pretty flush. You can, if you have the heavy-duty foil, you can run your finger on the back side to kind of bring that foil up. Now we just take our, let's see, get this stuff out of the way. Find my, oh, here it is. I'm going to move this out of the way so we don't heat it up. Okay, so we flatten this back out. Okay, we'll take our liquid polymer clay and a brush, and we just fill in the dots. And we do a little at a time. It's time consuming, but it makes a good result. And you want to make sure to get it right up to and even cover the spines. So. And it's okay to have extras up here to make it a little more sturdy. And I'm just following my little guideline there. Just try to get a smooth, even coat. making sure to put extra where the spines meet. So you want to make sure to get that good and attached. And it's okay if you miss a spot or two the first time, because we're going to do this like many times. You want to minimize the brush strokes or make it more intentional. Like that. I'm just making it a little more textured. You can do it as smooth or as textured as you want. But I'm just using my brush to make little lines. And then I will cure that with the heat gun the same way as we did the other. I will do it one time on camera, and then I will do the rest of them off camera because it is noisy. But the same way, you just hold the heat gun, keep it moving, and it'll turn kind of opaque or translucent there. So you'll be able to see it, probably not, maybe not on camera, but in person you'll be able to see it. I'm holding it about, let me just see, about 4 inches away. But I'm going to keep it moving all the way around and make sure that there's nothing around close that's going to get burned, like the table, which I've done before. I think I'm going to get a tile and put underneath that so that I don't burn this paper that's under here. So I'll be right back. It's got this big, it's a big tile that came from the hardware store. I have small ones and big ones. They come in very handy for this kind of work. You can bake right on them and do that. So this will protect my table and the paper. So here we go. Sorry about the noise. Okay, that seems to be cured enough for now. I'll let it cool a little bit. Okay, and then you just continue on and add another layer, bake it with the heat gun, add another layer, bake it with the heat gun, continue until it looks good. See a couple of spots, it kind of separated. That's why we have to do more than one coat. See these little, I don't know if you can see them or not on the camera, but there's a couple of like air pockets or whatever. So that should be covered up with the next layer. So just start up at the top because we want that to be a little bit thicker. Start out thicker up at the top and thinner down at the bottom. Okay. Just put a bunch up at the top and then brush it down towards the edge. My liquid clay is a little bit old, so it's kind of thick. I think you can add thinner to it. Again, just make sure that you get it up all the way to the spines so that it attaches good. I learned this technique from Mark Dennis when I took a wing making class. He made wings in this way, and I figured I could do it with tails just as well, but it made bat wings in the same way. You just make the wires for the bones of the wing and do the same technique for the membrane in between. Dragon wings, bat wings. That was at a class that I took at the Quinlan show years ago. Suppose you could make fairy wings this way too. Okay, the second coat is on there, and just kind of look and see if there's any air pockets or anything like that, and then we'll put a couple of textural things in here with the brush. And then I'm going to cure this with the heat gun. I'm going to pause you so you don't have to listen to that. It's the same as we just did. But I will be right back. Okay, I've cured that layer. And then you kind of inspect it to see if there's any spaces between your spines and the bottom. And Usually I take a extra step and put some thick amount of the liquid clay right along the inside edges, pushing kind of to make sure that it goes under any gaps that might be there. On the insides. Because there's nothing worse than pulling it off and it coming apart and then you have to like start over. So you want to make sure that you got that really good and attached. It's a mess right now, I know. Okay, then we're going to neaten up this mess that we made. I brushed from the bottom up to the top so that we have more at the top. More. And you just use the heat gun until it changes from opaque to clear. And again, keep it moving so it doesn't burn. That's a very important step. Okay, see the tape here is holding pretty good with the heat hitting it. Is made for heat, so if it was just regular paper tape or something, it would have just come right off with the heat gun. Okay. Check it out. Looks pretty good. Okay, I think this layer will probably be the last layer, and then we can take it off. So we will see after we do this. We'll see if we need another, if there's any gaps or anything that show up. And after you brush and use this with the clay, you want to take a baby wipe and clean that off pretty quickly so that it doesn't gum up your brush. And then clean it with alcohol. Get that all out of there. Okay, I'm going to use the heat gun on this again. You just keep them moving until it changes from opaque to clear. But I'm going to do it off camera so you don't have to listen. Okay, you just, I think I've got it pretty well. You keep adding and heating until you get it thick. I think I added another layer off camera just because you've seen me do 2 or 3 layers. It looks like it's pretty well attached at all the spines. Check and make sure that there's no gaps, no holes. And it looks like it's pretty well secure. So I think it's okay to take it off now. I'm still a little warm though. Now let it cool. Until it's not warm to the touch. I'll pause it until that cools off. Okay, it feels pretty cool now. So now we just take the tape off. It's still sticking pretty good. So and you just kind of pull it. It should come right off of the foil. I'm going to go ahead and cut these. Here's my little nipper here. So I'll just cut them down here to begin with to get it loose. Okay. So we got, you look at the other side. It looks pretty good. You can, if you want, let's get this out of the way so you don't have to look at that. If you want to trim a little bit, you can do that. But we'll take and trim the wires up here. Turn them around so it's the flat side, and you just trim those up to where the little fin netting comes in. Tile's hot. So now you have a fin that is flexible because the liquid clay is flexible, so you can bend it and pose it however you want. And if you made your mermaid out of flexible clay, I guess the mermaid would be. I haven't done that yet, but maybe I'll do that with this one to see if it still flexes. But then I take, you can paint this because it's clear now, so you can leave it clear or you can paint it. I use, where did the paint go? Oh, right here in front of my face. I use these Lumiere paints. They have different colors. They have a bunch of different colors. There's a purple and gold, but they make nice mermaid tails. That's what I paint the clay part and the fin all with those paints after. If you want, you can put a little dab of the liquid clay on the ends of the wires that you just cut. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and hopefully this little mermaid will be available on my page at the Guild convention. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the convention.